Hello everybody, this is the Opticlar dermatoscope, and today I'm just showing you the equipment. To learn how to use it and to interpret what you see, then please do come along to one of our Dermoscopy for Absolute Beginners courses run by the PCDS. So this is the Opticlar dermatoscope, and this comes as something that you can either buy the head separately, because it will fit onto a Welsh Allen handle, or you can buy it with the handle as well. If you already have a Welsh Allen handle, then this is something that might be worth considering just buying the head. Now, this is a slightly older model, and the newer models are slightly different. So on the older model, we have a choice of two different end plates. We have this one, which has a contact plate, and you can twist it between polarized and non-polarized by twisting it here. So when I turn the scope on, which I do by turning the handle in a normal way, I can then, if I twist it towards the cross, that will turn it into polarized mode. And if I twist it away from it, that turns it into non-polarized mode. And that's with contact. Now, when you're actually doing that on a patient, you can imagine that's a tricky thing to do. So you put it down onto the patient, stabilize that end plate, and twist the handle to switch between modes when you're actually on a patient. And sometimes in that bit in the middle, it may just pop off. So it's a bit of a nuisance, that one. It also has a separate plate, this one here, which doesn't have the end plate on it like that. So you could just put your finger in. And this is only used in polarized mode. So you'll find that it will only attach like that. It won't attach, won't let you turn it into non-polarized. So that only attaches in polarized mode. And then so that's ideal for if you are looking at a lesion where you don't want to compress the vessels on the surface. And if it's one that's oozing, if you have an oozing lesion, then you can attach one of these disposable end pieces to that plate, which we would normally use in polarized only, and then you can use that for contact with it. So that is those ones. Now, these are not the most robust, and as you can see, this one's actually broken. I have had it for a few years, but I haven't used it that much. So just be aware that these are, particularly these pieces, are made of plastic and they are quite delicate. It does have available to buy separately a small contact end plate, this one, that you put on, and again will work in polarized and non-polarized modes, and you can put a little bit of contact fluid on there to use it in non-polarized mode, and that's very good for looking at lesions, for example, between the fingers, between the toes, or around the eye. So I'm going to leave that on for the moment whilst I show you how to take photos with this one. Now, it does not have a magnetic ring here. So if I put a magnetic attachment on it there, nothing happens. What it comes with is it comes with this, which is a little bit like that, which sits over the top here. Now, when you focus it, you move this bit to focus it, and there is this little black ring, little black piece of plastic. Here we go, which, if I can get it off. So if you take that off, it will let you focus it and go all the way down and come all the way up. This ring is there basically so that you can get the focus correct for when you attach a camera. And so most of the time you don't need to focus it at all. If you've got that spacer ring in there, that will work beautifully. And then you put this on top, and then you can attach your camera to that. So if you have, for example, the Dermlite, one of these Dermlite adapters, or the Dermlite universal phone adapter like that, it will come with this ring, and you screw this ring onto that part of this bit, like so. And this will now attach magnetically onto there, and this will just sit on there and just hug it nicely. It's not attached to it magnetically, it's just covering it up, but you can get a decent photo by taking it through that. And you can obviously also attach it to the one that's attached to the case. There we go. So that will work very nicely like that. So that is how you attach your camera to the Opticlar. When it's attached, you don't need to adjust the focus because you've got that spacer ring in there, which should have it perfectly lined up. And the field of view on the contact plate, on the standard contact plate, is a very good size. Actually, it's absolutely fine. It's big enough to see plenty and small enough that you can get into most small spaces. And it doesn't show up on here, but we do have an X and a Y graticule, so you can measure things in 2 directions. I think this is the only one that has that X and Y on the graticules. The charger type for these depends on your handle, and the Welsh Allen handle can come, for example, with a standard USB, mini USB adapter, the same as you would use for your mobile phone. There are some that will work with a cradle, and there are some that are also battery operated. All of the dermatoscopes will work better with a rechargeable handle than with a battery operated handle, because as the batteries start to run down, the light goes down more significantly. Size wise, you can see it's quite a big piece of equipment, and we've got all these extras that come with it. And so the box that it comes with is actually quite large. I'm just going to see if I can demonstrate this quite large box. Not really. Oh well. So the box that it comes with is quite large, and it's going to take up a fair amount of space. So that's the overall size of this box, taking up the whole screen there. And that is, so it does take up quite a lot of space. So this is not the most mobile and carryable around of dermatoscopes, but that might suit you, and that might suit a general practice, for example, where you have the Welsh Allen handles around anyway. If you buy just the head end of it, there is a smaller box that it comes in for just the head end of the Opticlar dermatoscope. But my cautions with it would be, firstly, this one that I've demonstrated to you that's slightly broken is broken partly because you have to do this twiddling to fix it, and you have to switch these ends quite frequently. The newer versions of the Opticlar have a button at the side so you can switch between modes, and so you don't have to be taking the ends on and off all the time. And the disposable end caps go on and click off much more easily on the standard end piece. So the more modern versions of this are slightly better than this one. Nevertheless, it is still made of plastic and has lots of plastic parts, and it is a little bit delicate, and it is much more likely to break if you are not careful with it. So, as I say, we're just showing the equipment to you today. To learn how to use it and to interpret what you see, please do come along to one of our Dermoscopy for Absolute Beginners courses, or indeed to any of our intermediate or advanced dermoscopy courses, or any of our general dermatology courses. And you can find details about all of them on the website, which is pcds.org.uk. So that was the Opticlar dermatoscope.